In every holiday season, we pause to give thanks and recognize the blessings in our lives. Every one of us has our own unique challenges where we find out about our character, our strength, and our faith. Senior Julianne Martin stands out as an inspirational member of the BL family as, 2 years ago, she faced a near-death experience. But with incredible determination and resiliency, Julianne proved that her faith and the support of her strong family and the Bishop Lynch community would bring her back to the life she loved.
I first met Julianne when she was in elementary school, and I just remember her as this spunky little kid who loved coming to volleyball camp, just really enjoyed playing the game and meeting new people. And then as she grew older, I just knew that Bishop Lynch was her dream school, and so it was really exciting to get to know her as a child and then see her grow up and mature and then come to Bishop Lynch as a freshman. And she really impressed us. She would dive for every single ball. She actually could jump really high, so even though she's relatively small, she could hit well. And so we ended up moving her up to the sophomore team. So in our program we have 4 teams, and as a freshman she was able to advance to the sophomore team as a freshman.
Thursday, July 14th, 2016 was not just like any other day for senior Julianne Martin. On a last-minute change of plans, her parents had allowed her to accept an invitation from a good friend to go on their family vacation to Hot Springs, Arkansas.
So that summer, she had a lot going on. She had volleyball camps. She was trying out for volleyball here. She had driver's ed. She had a lot of things going on. I'm like, I don't think it's a good idea. Like, you have 2 sessions left of driver's ed. We need to get this done. You have no time. You have volleyball tryouts coming up on Monday here. It was like, there's just too much going on. So it's just not going to happen. Begging. It was like, okay, fine, go, just go. I'll figure it out. I was like, I'll email, the driver's ed teacher. I'll figure out volleyball. I was like, fine, just go.
For reasons even Julianne cannot describe, that morning, she asked her friend to have a Bible study. So they did.
And it was a Thursday. We got in on a Wednesday night. And that morning, it was kind of like a weird morning. And I remember waking up, eating like cake balls and cookies for breakfast, and we read the Bible, did some scripture, and we played some games at like 5 in the morning. It was really weird. And then we just got ready and put our bathing suits on and stuff and got onto the boat. We were like falling on and off the jet ski multiple times, and I remember like this one time we fell off and we were like out of breath and it hurt really bad, and we like had promised that we were never going to get back on, and so we like laid on the boat for 30 minutes and then we got back on like for our last time. Well, we were like going back to the house that we were staying at, and what I really remember is us like going slow, and we would go as fast as we could, and then we would ride up next to the boat, and that's pretty much I remember from that. Just going as fast as we could, as close to the boat as we could.
While at her dental hygienist job, Karen New got the phone call every parent dreads.
It was like, man, I've got 2 hours to myself. What am I going to do with myself? And I'm sitting there, I'm like, I'm going to go work out. So I'm getting ready to change in my workout clothes, and I get the call. And the lady on the other line is hysterical. And I'm like, what? She's like, you've got to come now to Arkansas. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, your daughter, she's been in a bad accident. Because it's like, we don't know what we're about to expect.
I think we got the call at 4:30, and
yes.
Then we were there by 10:30 at night.
Yes.
It's a 5-hour.
Yeah.
So we booked it pretty quickly.
I packed an overnight bag because I didn't know.
Initially, the information given to Karen and Jeff was a little confusing, but as they arrived at the hospital, they realized the magnitude of what had happened.
It magnified it because at first they told us, oh, she's been in an accident and we think she broke her nose.
Yeah.
And that was the first. That was like so, and then you hear care flight, and you're like, okay, wait a minute,
what's going on?
That sounds more than a broken nose. And
we were greeted by a priest, like, waiting for us, and you're like, that's not a good sign. If they're waiting for you outside your daughter's room, that's not a good sign. And it was kind of like,
I told them to leave.
Yeah.
No one was gonna die tonight, so.
While trying to comprehend what had happened, they walked into the room and Julianne was completely covered with a sheet. Adamant about seeing their daughter, the doctors advised against it.
You know, we'll walk in, she's covered in a sheet. So we couldn't even see her. They wouldn't even let us
You only
take the
see
sheet
half
off.
of her face. They
Yeah.
wouldn't let you see because they hadn't
They hadn't done anything
hadn't
yet.
sewn up her or done anything. So, and I was like, I want to see her, and they're like, you can't.
Yeah, they wouldn't let us see her. So,
Julianne had broken her neck, broken both orbital bones, one of her jaws was completely broken off the condyle and broken in 3 other spots. She had a hangman's fracture which caused the nerve damage in her left arm, leaving her with about 10% usage.
they pulled us out of the room,
Yeah.
and they were like, we've got to do neck surgery ASAP.
Yeah,
She's broken
yeah.
her neck from C1 to C3.
That was
And
the
you're
first
like,
one.
well, broken neck, that's paralyzed. Like, when you think about that, you're like, so they pull us out of the room, showing us x-rays, showing us CT scans, and I collapse. You know, you're just like, what? And they show you, you know, you see these x-rays, and I know because I was in the dental field, so I know what they mean. And I'm looking at them and I'm like, there's not a bone left in her face. Like, there's nothing left.
Not only was there a laceration completely dissecting Julianne's face, she had also broken her neck from C1 to C4. The doctors advised they take her to surgery right then, and there to fuse her spine and clean the laceration in hopes of staving off any infection.
You know, she
Yes.
was full of lake water still. She had lake
Yeah.
water in her lungs, and that was the neck surgery and get the water out of her lungs, and then we'll see how she's going to respond. That's what we didn't even know.
And that was the thing too, because when she was hit off the jet ski, I was told, you know, she was face down in the water, you know, unconscious. They pulled her back up out of the water somehow. That was another thing, because they were like, the strength that we had to have to pull her out of that water, it was a miracle.
with a broken neck.
Yes.
Unconscious. Didn't know that
Like,
she had a broken
yeah,
neck.
pulling this girl out of the water like that. They were like, I don't know how we did it. I don't know how we got out of the water like that. Like, there's no way. Somebody had to have had a hand in that.